Hi, my name is Mary. I'm a non-directed kidney donor. I donated in 2015 and started a chain of 8 kidney donations across 7 states. I donated to a woman I never met, which a lot of people think is kind of crazy, but when you find out why, you'll understand. So originally, I was going to donate to my neighbor and friend, Shar. She was 62 years old and suffered from type 1 diabetes. She was very weak and very sick. We were a match, but before we could do the transplant, she developed pneumonia and was hospitalized. She spent a few days in the hospital, was sent home, and suffered a heart attack and died on her living room floor. It was really devastating. I first learned about living kidney donation through a tennis buddy friend of mine. She had donated to a friend of hers in 2001. When Shar died, I called her up. I was pretty upset. And she told me the statistics, that there are over 100,000 people in the United States are waiting for a kidney, and 16 of those will die every day. She also told me about being a non-directed donor. And I was very interested in this because now that I knew of the great need, it's a terrible statistic, but one that we can change through living kidney donation. So before I had a chance to tell my husband that I was considering giving a kidney to Shar, she leaked the news, and boy was he upset. So I could understand why. You know, he was worried about the time in the hospital, what it would cost, what about our travel plans, and what if I needed a kidney later on. So I was able to calm him down, talk him off the edge of the cliff, and he went to 2 other appointments with me. He was able to ask the transplant team all of his questions and had everything answered. He felt so much better knowing the facts, and in fact he said, maybe I'll fill out an application and be a living donor too. So besides my husband's reaction, I was a little worried about my history of melanoma from 1981. Also my age. I was 62 at the time. And I did find out that the older donors are very desirable, because if you haven't developed hypertension or heart disease or kidney disease by your 50s or 60s, you probably won't, and you have a healthy lifestyle. So this was all good information to have. So I was able to resolve my fears about being a living donor by talking to my transplant team, my friend Diane, and I also had checkups with my oncologist and my dermatologist. So I passed with flying colors, and I really felt like I was healthy enough to donate my kidney. You know, it was great because I didn't have to pay for anything. Maybe 1 or 2 days that I had a parking fee at the transplant center. But all of the tests, the MRIs, the stress test, the EKGs, all the blood draws, everything was covered. All was covered by my recipient's insurance. So I had lived a pretty healthy lifestyle. I wasn't on any medications. I wasn't overweight. I exercised regularly. So I felt very fortunate to be selected to be a non-directed donor. So I kind of want to explain a little bit about what that means. Since my friend Shar had passed away, and they put my information into the National Kidney Registry, and I was eventually matched with a woman in Texas. She was very difficult to match. She had a 98% antibody level, which meant that only 1 out of 100 people would match her. So for her, it truly was a miracle. So on her end of the line, she had a friend who was willing to donate to her but wasn't a match. So they found another recipient in Tennessee who did match my recipient's friend. So her kidney was flown over to Tennessee and put in that patient. So that's how it works when there's a non-directed donor and there's a matching chain. So we went through 7 different states, 8 new kidneys. Truly a miracle times 8. So on the day of the surgery, as I was wheeled into the OR, I saw a young man sitting on a cooler. And I asked the nurse, I said, "Who is that?" And she said, "Oh, it's the courier. He's going to take your kidney in the cooler with a GPS device to the airport for a chartered flight to San Antonio, Texas." Wow, it's amazing. But yes, kidneys are very hardy and they travel well. So the surgery was about 4 hours. I was 2 nights in the hospital on morphine, which was probably my least favorite thing of the whole procedure. When I was released, I got off the painkillers, I think, within 1 day, and then I was on Tylenol for another couple days. So, really, when you think about it, it wasn't such a difficult surgery. So after 2 nights in the hospital, I got home, and I actually felt pretty good. I got off the prescription meds within a day, maybe 2, and then was on Tylenol for another few days. By day 5, I was out walking my 2 dogs in the hills here in Crest, and I could, still move around pretty well. No sit-ups, no lifting anything over 10 pounds. But eventually I was back to all my activities, snow skiing, hiking, kayaking, and tennis. So the recovery was pretty quick with the laparoscopic surgery. So when I share my story of being a non-directed kidney donor, people often ask, do you have to be on a special diet when you give up a kidney? The answer is no. Do you have to be on any medications? No. What if you need a kidney later in life and you actually do go to the top of the transplant list? If you have donated a kidney and you go into kidney failure or develop kidney disease, you will be able to get a kidney from the top of the list. There have been many advances in transplant medicine over the years, and with donor chains like mine, many more lives can be saved. I got to meet my recipient about 6 months after our surgeries, and every time we call or email, we call each other sister, and we both believe in the miracle of living kidney donation.